Good Tuesday morning, everyone. It's been a few weeks, but I thought we would jump on today and talk about cigarette lighters, tobacco, Zippos, other useful mechanisms, whatever you guys want to talk about. If you are present in the live stream, go ahead and give me a wave in the chat. Let me know the audio is working. Hello, Cheyenne. Thank you very much. Doing me a solid there. And also thank you for joining us today. I don't have a whole lot going on. Got I believe, every Zippo in my collection, other than a few that don't have boxes. Got a few here that don't have boxes, but I got a few more over there in a cabinet. But this is my most recent addition to my Zippo collection, which is a 2004 1941 replica, brushed chrome. This is before they changed the bottom stamp to say 1941 replica. I need to orient myself to my camera here. So before they changed the bottom stamp to say 1941 replica, when it still said patent 2032695, is that right? How have you become aware of my content, Cheyenne? Is it from the daily videos? Have you been with us in a live stream before? Hopefully we get some of our regular attendees to join us here along the way. People like Sean and Naphtha, Azrael. There's Sean. What's up, my man? Eastwad, Doom Flam, J-Ro Lights. Trying to remember. Gnarly News. Gnarly hadn't been with us in a while. What do you collect, Cheyenne? You a Zippo collector, or you in for all of it? And if so, what kind of theme or? Yeah, it was good talking to you in the comment section the other day, Sean. I don't remember now how long ago that's been, probably a week or so. Hello, Azrael, there we go. Getting some of the old gang back in here. How do you get a notification, Azrael? Did you get a notification, or are you just being funny because I just mentioned your name? I always go over and do the @everyone over on the Discord but I'm not sure how many of you are actually involved on the Discord. You get a notification from YouTube. Cool, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I guess I get the notifications when ZF77 is on Friday or Saturday night. Sometimes I'll get those notifications, and that's, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. It's weird because with the short videos, it seems like YouTube doesn't even send out notifications to my subscribers for those shorts. It's like, you know, some of those videos will get, 1,000 or 1,500 views pretty quick. But then there's others that, just kind of get a few here and there. But it doesn't really seem to matter whether they get a lot of views or a few views. The views from notifications are non-existent. Oh, sorry to hear that, Azrael. I was sick a little over a week ago, down and out and bad in a way that I haven't been in a while. And I think it was just some kind of bug. It was gone about as quick as it hit me. And just about everybody else that I knew and had been in contact with had had it either right then before me or after me. So really nasty stuff that I don't care to go through again. So I feel for you, whatever your ailment is. Cool. Hey, Phil, glad that you have joined us. Phil says that he's just started collecting and waiting for his vintage camel coronet to arrive today. Enlighten me, Phil. I'm not familiar with the camel coronet. Is that a butane lighter? Is that one of the replica lift arm type lighters that Camel put out at one point? Yeah, yeah, the same kind of things going on here, Azrael. Yeah, there's no telling. I don't know what the effects of, the flu was down for a few years there because of the pandemic, everybody being distanced and masked up. And, all those kind of guidelines are pretty much gone now. So there's no telling what kind of effect some of these germs or viruses or whatever they are could, whatever I had seemed to be very infectious. Like I said, everybody I knew had it at one point or another that week. What have you guys been up to? Has anybody been over on TikTok watching Eastwad Dune Flam's latest videos? Or are you all afraid to use TikTok because the government says we shouldn't? I don't know. I use it, but I don't. I don't let it. I don't share my contacts with it or anything like that. But yeah, I don't really know that it really matters. I'm not sure what. We all got our information out there in so many different ways. If somebody wants it, they're probably going to get it. Yeah, I think he has published another video or two to YouTube lately, but man, he's got a lot more content over on TikTok. I've shared one or two of his videos, his TikTok videos, over to the dependableflame.com Facebook page, and I noticed after the fact that the links weren't displaying right, so it's almost like Facebook had, um, I don't know what you would call that, but it was like it didn't recognize the link anymore to display the actual um, thumbnail and all that. Okay. Well, yeah, send me a picture, Phil. I'd like to know which one you're talking about. You said Camel. Oh, was it maybe was Coronet the brand? Is it like a flip top petrol lighter made in Japan? That's what we're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've had plenty of those, not of Camel, but of other cigarette brands. I had a Marlboro pack, Japanese made flip top lighter that most people would call that a Zippo knockoff, and I guess they kind of are, the Japanese ones at least. Um, but when they got a cool advertisement on it and they display just as well, I don't see, there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you can get a hold of it cheaper than, an authentic tobacco branded vintage Zippo. Yeah, there you go, Sean. Um, I don't know. We got the Chinese spy balloon flying over the United States from one corner to the other, and they just let that thing fly over, but then they're going to ban TikTok. I don't know. I don't know what kind of information they're really going to gain from a social media app, but I don't know. I'm probably kind of naive on that myself. Cool. You can send me a picture over on Facebook, Phil, or email. I've got several things listed there on the contact us page at dependableflame.com. But to send a picture, of course, text message work just fine, or Facebook Messenger, whichever. It's kind of confusing to me how I get those notifications over there too, because um, there's a separate app for the business page, but then both notifications also come through the regular app, and I can toggle through which profile I'm on. But then that crosses over with Messenger. So I get really confused sometimes with where those messages are over there, but I don't think that I've neglected too many for too long. Yeah, you can send a pic on Discord as well. Although I got to tell you, Azrael, I get confused over there. I got a notification yesterday that somebody had sent me a picture, and I got over there and thought I knew where to find it, but I couldn't find. I didn't see any notification at all. Anyway, the Discord. So Azrael's in the Discord. Or Sean, Phil, anybody else joined us yet today? Um, Cheyenne was here earlier. Any of y'all um, involved on the Discord? What are you like it for? What are the pluses and minuses? Positives and negatives, I should say. I like that it'll send everybody a notification. That's why I do that for the live stream every week. And I like that people can post. I've noticed at different times that a viewer or subscriber to my channel had posted a link to my videos on the feed each day. And, actually there are 2 or 3 people that have gone through at different times and would post, various light, not just mine, but ZF77, Zippo Lion's Den. I'm trying to remember some of I'm drawing a blank now. There's more than that. but I definitely remember seeing them post those and links to my videos. So that's pretty cool. But to some degree, I get confused by it and I feel kind of overwhelmed, just like I do with a lot of these other social media platforms. I don't really understand their purpose, why you need that when you already have Facebook or whatever. But the Discord is a good place. It's there are some play like I really like folks to communicate with me over in the comment section on my website. If I had my druthers, that's where every conversation I had would be. But the down part is you can't post pictures in those comments. Um, I believe I can, but that doesn't help when somebody's trying to show me a lighter. So that is what I'm currently doing. The repair questions that I answer, I'm only answering those kind of questions over on the website. But if I have to see a picture, then they're going to have to send that to me either by email, text, or Facebook, or obviously if they're in the Discord, the Discord. Okay, so they use that kind of as you're playing the game, Sean? Is that what that's about? Interesting. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Somebody explained that to me before. Maybe ZF77 Outdoors had explained that it had to do with. I'm trying to remember. It seems like there was another app maybe that it came from. Maybe I'm confusing. But yeah, I knew it had something to do with video games. I'm kind of ignorant of video games myself. I haven't really played anything since the Atari 2600. This is the very first Zippo lighter that I ever purchased. It doesn't have the original insert in it right now. It's got a pipe insert. But this is the one that I've talked about after watching Sons of Anarchy and the whole imagery of that show with the bikers, and they were constantly pulling out Zippos to light their cigarettes. That's what led me to buy this, well, I think it's 2016 brushed chrome Zippo off of Amazon. And I'm not sure where the original insert for it is at this point. I think I've still got it here somewhere. But this was the lighter that I first bought, first petrol lighter, which after I'd had it and played around with it for a little while, then next thing you know, I was searching eBay for Zippos, which led to, oh man, I think that back then in the summer of 2017, I think was when I bought this. I wouldn't have had any idea what a Thorns lighter was, or a Beatty Jet, or a Dunhill roll light. I had no idea. I had no idea how to even fuel a Zippo until I bought one. Like I said, I believe that was the summer of 2017. Yeah, you're right, Azrael. I think it's probably the most desirable, just across the board, because the high polish are going to, any blemish is going to stand out so much more. And it doesn't look horrible when you do get an irregular wear or something on a brush chrome. It's just sort of like the JDH lighter here that Gavin Lannon gave me. It's got some wear. It's got some wear in some spots where it looks like it may be about to come through the brass, about to come through the chrome. But it doesn't affect the aesthetic appeal of the lighter. It doesn't make you look at it and think it looks worn out or you know, broken, or it just looks like it has character. Yeah, I started in 2017. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know what a petrol lighter was before that. So I asked you guys about Histoire d'une Flamme. What other kind of lighter content have you been watching on YouTube? Seen anything cool from ZF77 or, man, I haven't seen Daniel Nieves in forever. Magic Lighter, I think he's posted a video or two recently. I know I've seen some notifications from Zippo Lion's Den. What else have you guys been watching? Hey, Professor, what's up? Glad that you've joined us while you are working on your car. I've listened to a lot of radio back in my time working for the U.S. Postal Service. Not only radio, but also the audio band from television that my radio would pick up. Audio books, all kinds of things while I was doing the mindless work of sorting mail. Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with Barlow. Barlow are typically good quality lighters. Um, Now, that seems like a pretty high price for a Barlow. That's the kind of price I would be trying to sell it for, um, depending on what it was. But I don't typically sell anything in my store that I'm not willing to ask at least $25, $30 for. So that would be a little bump up from the bottom for me. So um, I don't typically pay that much for lighters that I buy, but if it had, say, does it have an emblem or some kind of advertising or anything like that? Yeah, Sean, my lighter, he's really good. My only criticism of my lighter is he never lights them. He never puts fuel in them and lets them catch fire. But he's got a lot of really cool lighters, and he's another one, just like Larry Lighter, that maybe not so much recently, but has in the past posted a lot of content to Facebook. But going back to Phil, the Barlow lighter, for it to be worth that kind of price to me, it would need to have some really cool graphics or a really popular brand or something. Just a plain Barlow lighter, like just like your plain brushed chrome Zippo, a Barlow of that same ilk with no advertising or anything. I'd probably put a cap on that of, $20 at the most. And I think you can, by looking around a little bit, you can probably find those on eBay even cheaper than that. But like I said, if it's got, if it had, say, Lucky Strike advertising on it, well, then we're talking about a whole different story. $35 might be a bargain. Camel advertising, anything like that. Or even, you know, other name brands. One of the really cool ones that I saw, it wasn't an advertising um, lighter for this particular product. It was I think it was like a employee award for the company, and I don't remember now what company made it. It's a guy named Rob Johnson who deals in a lot of high-end Zippo stuff and has had some really cool stuff in his collection over the years. Um, but this particular lighter had a graphic of a roll of lifesavers, and I think it was a package of gum or something like that. But the colors in that wouldn't have mattered if that was on a Zippo or not. That would have been uh, have some good value. Obviously, the Zippo with the great graphics, you know, they're going to bring a premium. But those Japanese-made lighters with really cool graphics, they'll bring you some money as well. Yeah, he puts music on there too, just like Eastwa Doom Flam does. It's just, yeah, that'd be a little bit high. Like I said, it, I don't know. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of appeal for plain Japanese made lighters. I think most of you'll see some of them go for good money, but they're either going to be like military presentation lighters or advertising lighters. You can probably find that same lighter or something equivalent for a good deal cheaper. Why am I not getting your why am I not getting your notifications, Professor? Kind of at a disadvantage right at the moment. Let me go get my computer. If I can remember how to work this thing, I've worked so little on it lately. I'm back to writing 2 articles a week for the website. So if you're wondering where I'm at, I haven't dropped a video recently or whatever, you wonder what I'm up to, then dependableflame.com, check that out. Um, but I do most of my or a lot of my editing work and moving around. I need to get on here one of these mornings and clean up the dependableflame.com/current eBay listings page. I forgot what I was looking for. Oh, I was going to go over and try to figure out why I haven't gotten notifications to Professor's Garage's videos. So are you making lighter videos or are you making truck fixing videos? What Japanese lighters are you talking about, Sean? Are you talking about current? Are you talking about I get nervous when this thing starts asking me for passwords because I don't remember. Well, I'm going to have to look that up later. It's been so long since I used that, it logged me out of YouTube. I'll say this, the Japanese lighters that you see listed right now, like the Ronson Standard and the different replica remanufacture I don't even know if that's the right word. They're definitely replicas. They've got one that looks like the Thorns. They've got some that look like Lancels. They've got the Abdullah. And they may change the name a little bit, but they've also got lighters on there under the Ronson name that are Japanese made. I think the same thing with the IMCOs. The last time I really paid attention to one of those IMCO listings, on the bottom where it used to say made in Austria, now it says something like come of Austria, something like that. In other words, like it's of Austrian descent, I guess, but not actually made in Austria. Well, I'll say this. Yeah, when I think of Chinese products, I think of cheap. But a lot of the, what people call Zippo knockoff flip top lighter type that were made in Japan, a lot of those are just as good a quality as a Zippo. Chinese now for IMCO. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, that's where those IMCO wicks that I use. Yeah, they've got Asian characters on the printing on them. Okay, all over the place. You say Tabasco, root beer, small projects, flashlight video, etc. No truck repair videos. Okay, yeah, I kind of up to now. I do publish a strange video here or there on a Saturday. I've published a sugar-free baking video or two, and I probably need to do a couple more because I figured out some things with this diet of not eating sugar and carbs, where if you're willing to prepare your food and be prepared, it's not really all that hard, and I feel like I eat really well. I enjoy what I eat. So, are you saying your first Zippo was a fake, Azrael? I think though, Sean, you can get a lot of the older Japanese products, the the like the flip top lighters from the 50s, 60s, 70s, around in there. I think they're really underpriced. I've bought a lot of that kind of stuff in bigger groups and then turn around and sold it for really good profit because it's just something that I think a lot of people overlook. But a good looking graphic on a quality lighter it may not have that same name appeal as a Zippo, but it's still going to be attractive to somebody. I've talked a lot about Ted Ballard and how he told me that there's no such thing as an insignificant lighter. And I disagree with that because, I think there's plenty of them that are just junk, plastic, all that kind of crap. But if it's a good quality lighter, then yeah, I would agree with that. There's something to that. There's no such thing as an insignificant quality lighter. Yeah, I don't remember ever coming across a fake in the time that I've been doing this. I'm curious. They always talked about in the training that I received at the post office to do window work. They always talked about how the Secret Service trained for finding and working with counterfeit bills by only using real bills. That they know the real thing so well that when they're confronted with a fake, then it was apparent. And I don't know how true that is, but I can say that in my time, we weren't really taught. We sold a lot of money orders, and we weren't really taught um, to spot fake ones or anything like that. We had a light we put them under, and there were watermarks we looked for, things like that. But it wasn't like a detailed process. And when it became, um, I don't know what the word, it became very prevalent at one point back after the housing market crash. Suddenly, people were showing up left and right with these fake money orders. They'd always have three of them, and they would all be like $980, $985, and $990 because it had to be. I think it had to be under 1,000, maybe 999 or below. I don't know. Maybe it could have been right at 1,000. I don't remember. But these were scam things where people were using them to pay people who had done a supposed job of some kind, or sometimes it would be selling a piano, and it was just all kinds of odd things that people would be paying. Sometimes it seemed like a scam, sometimes it seemed like somebody just taking advantage. But it got to the point that the minute I would see one of those fake money orders walk in the door, I already knew what was going on. Because regardless of how good they looked, they were obviously not. They were off. To somebody who wasn't used to looking at those money orders all day, every day, then it probably looked close enough. Yeah, those permanent matches are pretty cool. And yeah, that's the thing, Sean. That's one reason why I don't know how you're selling those on there. I got on there looking after we had that conversation the other day. I got on and looked up your um, username, and it brought up your username, but it showed me that you didn't have any listings. I think because you don't ship to my address would be. I think it will only show you what you can legitimately buy. You said Douglas Field. Is that a lift arm lighter, or is that a different Douglas lighter than I'm thinking of? So Azrael, you're saying that your Chinese fake Zippo had what looked to be a legitimate stamp on the bottom and on the insert? Anyway, what I was saying there is that's one reason why I don't. I run those penny start auctions, which I need to get back on that. I need to get back on a lot of things, but um, other than the penny start auctions, I don't do auctions anymore because you just you're putting too much at risk unless you're starting it, with what you would hope to get out of it. And in that case, that's why I figure I might as well go ahead and just list them as buy it now, and I list them a little high, and then um, I will come down off just about any lighter that I've got for sale, and do often. So that's one thing I've said many times. If you look at one of my lighters and you want to make me an offer, don't be afraid to make an offer. I mean, I do get insulted by some offers sometimes, but you know, I don't have my lighters exorbitantly outpriced. Like there's a guy that's got a Penguin Cygnus that's really cool, and I would like to own it, but he's got it listed for $250. And as much as I want to promote Penguin Cygnus lighters, and I've got some really unique ones and ones that I haven't seen anybody else have. Um, So I would like to see the value go up, but that's just not a realistic value, $250. Nobody's ever going to pay that. So I list mine a little high, figure out what I think I should get out of it, and then I usually add 25, 30%, something like that, and then I field offers, and sometimes it sells right away, and they don't even make an offer, they just buy it. Other times, you just never know. I mean, it goes a million ways. I've had lighters sit there for 3 years, and you would think nobody even cared, and then suddenly it gets bought. It just takes the right person who's willing to pay, but like I said, you got to be realistic. And that's the one thing I don't understand about some of them is listing it as a buy it now with that exorbitantly high cost and then not making, giving the option to make an offer. It's like they don't want to sell it. Okay, I'll have to look into that, Sean. I've got to admit I'm somewhat ignorant. I'm talking about the Douglas Field L and S lighters. Like I said, I got no problem with somebody. If you don't know, then if you don't know what the value is, then list as high as you want, but you should at least leave let the prospective buyer make an offer. But it's pretty amazing. I wasn't willing to pay it. I was willing to pay, I don't know, maybe $20 for it because it had some damage to the mother of pearl. But this past week, there was a Penguin Cygnus, black anodized, and one side of it had mother of pearl tiled in there. And it ended up selling for about $50. So those lighters may have, some of those Japanese lighters anyway, may have a little bit more value than what I would have thought. And it's not like there's 30-some Cygnus lighters listed on eBay at any given time. So it's not like there's a ton of them. It's not like Zippo where you're going to have over 100,000. Okay, I'll look that up, Sean. I'll look that up. I'm going to screen capture this. So hopefully I will remember. I also just got this Ronson Lida case last week, which it's always interesting to me when I get a new cigarette case or combination. They rarely ever appear in your hand what they look like in pictures. And so this would only work with short cigarettes. I guess filterless cigarettes. Maybe this was before commercially produced cigarettes were made, or at least readily available. And it's not working exactly like I want it to just yet, so we're probably going to end up taking it apart. But it works pretty well. better than most, you know, straight out of the package from eBay. It does have a Dunhill blue flint in it. And I don't know, I don't know if driver's license and debit cards would fit in there. It's almost got my initials on it. Just kind of out of order. Anyway, this is the brother to the Ronson Debonair. Really cool mechanism. And like I said, we'll probably end up doing a repair video and all that on that to see if we can get it lighting every time as it should. You shouldn't have to be pounding away on a Ronson to make it light. You shouldn't have to be leaning it to try to throw that spark into the wick. You should just be able to push the button and have it light. Hello, Friedrich. Hope you're doing well. Friedrich, I'm hoping you can answer a question for me. After we made the trade over on the, I think we did that on the dependableflame.com group page. Did you erase that? Did you delete that that post? Because I went back over there and tried to find it and I couldn't find it. I was going to post a picture of the lighter after I got it in that thread and I couldn't find it. And I don't know if that's just my incompetence or whether you deleted the post. Sorry to hear that. I hope that you're recovered. Hope everything is well now. That can't have been convenient or fun. I was thinking of making a video of all my current Zippo collection. That's one of my favorites there. The, what's it called? All-around leaf design. Green paint etched around the brass color of the base Zippo. There's a vintage look with slashes. Need to figure out what I'm going to do. That's two brand new Zippos right there that I haven't ever done anything with. Talking about the two vintage looks. There's the vintage look without slashes. I like the with slashes better. That's the original case. Took that out when I was making the video the other day, and you'll see that video, the video for this lighter, the newest 1941 replica. You'll see that, I believe tomorrow morning is when I have it set for. But took the other insert out of the 2004 and set it aside. And whichever one of these, you can see there where that one is marked 1941 replica, where the 2004 has the 2032695 patent number. But it's going to be my daily carry for a while. It's always in the rotation. And I didn't have a box for that one, so it'll just stay in the box for the 2021 41 replica when I'm not using it. That's that Carrier Air Wing 7. It's got all the interesting engraving on it. I'm not even sure what all that engraving means. It says something about maiden voyage, May 94 to November 94. But then it's got all these other, I don't know, VFA 131, HS5, series of numbers and letters. And I think that's the original inserts in that. Toyed with the idea of selling that one. Doesn't really have any connection to me, so I probably will sell that one. Well, that's what I've tried. You know, it's weird because I can see those pages as myself and also as the page. And there's times I can find what I'm looking for and other times I can't. So I'll have to go back and look at it again. But yeah, I tried when I first got that thing in the mail. I was going to post a picture over there and I couldn't find it. And I thought, well, maybe he just erased it so nobody would get confused about him still wanting to trade for a Cygnus. What dated lighter are you talking about? You talking about the 41 replica, Sean? I definitely had a video or two on that. I think I even made videos for each of the these other vintage looks. I think I made videos for those. Seems like I may have had to. No, I didn't have to clean the flint tubes out, but I may have had to clean a sticker or two off of them. I can't remember. Oh yeah, yeah. I may have done a couple of videos on that one. I wish somebody could tell me exactly what those things mean. Anyway. I don't know if that would necessarily enlighten me in any way, but hello, Nevsat. Glad that you have joined us. What small version? Are you talking about the Slim? I like the Slims too. I don't have that many. I think I've got 3 in my collection. The Scrimshaw that I traded for from Friedrich. And then I've got these 2 Slims. One that has my name on it. Cursive Joe. And then the other one, trying to let the camera see that. The video I'm looking at is behind. what I am, what's actually happening. But this other lighter was a name that my dad was likely to call you if he got pissed off at you. So neither one of those are for sale. That one had a really bent up windscreen that kind of reshaped. And this particular lighter I paid close to nothing for. It was in the box. I ended up selling the box. But bought it brand new back in probably 2017 and carried it for a long time. But it's a really good 1972, I think, Zippo Slim. Yeah, I like the Slim. They're good to use. They don't take up as much space in your pocket as a full size will, depending on what it is that you're carrying. You know, some people carry a vaporizer, have pins in their pockets, or maybe a pipe or other lighters, or who knows, your keys. But for whatever reason, that Slim may fit in there a little bit easier, and not really, you won't really suffer from the fuel economy. It gets just about as good a fuel economy as the full size. I've used and had others. I've sold a lot of them over the last few years, and people always like to talk about that Slims aren't anywhere near as valuable as the regular, and maybe not, but I think if you got the right graphic or embellishment or whatever it is, again, if it's an attractive lighter, if it's a quality lighter, then somebody will pay for it. That's kind of cool though, Friedrich. You got that kind of experience and that's not the right word. That kind of history with the company. Like I said, I didn't even know how petrol lighters worked. I didn't understand the whole. I'd never even fueled one 6 years ago. Hello, Hev 141. Now, how long was that you were collecting IMCO before you got your first Zippo? Says that he actually got two of them for his birthday, both in cream matte finish, a slim and a regular. Okay, I'll check that out. I'll have to wait till we get done here, Azrael. I've got Discord on the device that I'm streaming from. So I take it you're sending pictures of Sean's permanent match, Azrael? Nevset says his first petrol lighter was an IMCO. I didn't have an IMCO for a good bit when I first started, but I felt like I understood IMCO pretty well because I had one called a sunflower, is it 6506? And so then when I did get an IMCO, it seemed like it was pretty much the same principles, worked the same way. Yeah, I don't have a huge collection either. Well, considering there's about 20 lighters right here in front of you, and then I've got another, what is it, 17 Penguin Cygnus. So that's going to put it close to 40. I've probably got at least 60 lighters in my collection, but that seems like a lot. I don't need it to get much bigger than that. I'm not trying to close myself in with lighters. I still sell way more than I keep. Sean, who are you saying should get all their lighters in the YouTube video? Are you telling Nevsat that? Or are you talking to me? I thought I had done, have I not done a video of all my lighters? It's been a while, I guess. I've done a few videos of all of my Cygnus lighters. So maybe it seems like I've done the whole collection. I was watching a video this morning, I think I published in June of 21. For some reason that sounds right. The first Penguin Cygnus, what I now call my Penguin Cygnus collection. That was the first video where I had really decided, all right, I'm collecting these things. And at that point I had 3 of them. I had the brand new one that I traded to Friedrich a couple of months ago. I had the gold tone with the heavy engraved scroll work, and I had the emerald green with the gold accents, gold snuffer, gold rollers, all that kind of stuff. So at that point I only had 3 Penguin Cygnuses. Now I think I did have 18. Or maybe it was, I can't remember. I went down one, but about the same time that I traded the one to Friedrich, I picked up that Southern Motors Inc. short advertising model. So I don't know, somewhere around 17 or 18 of them. What kind of Zippo slim table lighter do you have, Friedrich? I know of the Barcroft, the Lady Bradford, the Handy Light, the big Rose Art base table lighters. I didn't know of a Zippo slim table lighter. Yeah, like I said, Sean, I'm going to try to do a video here of all my Zippos soon, and I'll try to. I don't know if I have everything over here to where I could do an entire, but yeah, I'll try to do a video of the entire thing. It's kind of camera angles are a little bit of a struggle for me right at the moment because where I'm at, I don't have the ability to use my backdrop. Where if I need to figure out what I'm doing, if I can fix my backdrop here to the countertop, then I'd have a few more options. Yeah, I would say that's one thing they've said is those lighters have been copied a lot. Like I said, that uh, Sunflower 6506 was, I think, one of the first Chinese lighters to kind of break through to the Western market, and they were really good lighters. But it was basically a copy of the IMCO. Yeah, well, it's kind of it's a lot of. There's some other items that I consider part of the collection that take up a little bit more space. The ashtrays are starting to um, accumulate more than I really would have imagined. But when I find a cheap, um, colorful or different shaped ashtray, especially advertising models for places around here that don't exist anymore, it's hard for me not to buy those things if they're only $4 or $5. So I've got a lot of ashtrays sitting around. But yeah, I could definitely do just the lighters. And may even, well, no, they're not all here, but the majority of them, at least the ones that have been dealt with. I've got a few over there that are still projects or donor project type lighters. The Modern, is that what you're talking about, Friedrich? Does that use a I forgot about the Modern, I think is how you say it. I forgot about that table lighter. I'm a little bit Nebsat. Like I said, when I'm out looking for lighters and finding lighters out at places like flea markets, antique malls, those kind of places, it's a needle in a haystack. You see a lot more ashtrays than you do lighters. At least you know good buyable lighters. But like I said too, I use a lot of ashtrays, so it kind of works itself out. I kind of need them, so um, I had an ashtray that I recently sold. It was an old had an old military emblem on it, and I think I sold it for $125. Brass, really nice. It cleaned up really nice, and it wasn't in good shape when I got it. It had some oxidation, green oxidation, and old ash buildup. And so um, I cleaned it up a little bit, and then I used it quite a bit. And then I don't know. I don't even know why. I don't know why I was using it. Same reason I use a lot of the lighters. They're cool old things that you can use. So I did. But then I realized, well, this thing may really have some value. So that's when I cleaned it up and listed it. And like I said, it sold for a good amount of money. But yeah, I was just ashing in it. I had ash built up all over that emblem at one point. Yeah, I got a plenty. I definitely got enough room here to do it. I just, you know, being what you can see in the background can sometimes be the problem. Nobody wants to see around this apartment. I'm trying to decipher these comments here. What are you saying yes to, Friedrich? Yes, that it is the modern? Sean is encouraging me to get all my lighters out, even if I got to get them on the floor. I'll do that soon. Like I said, I may be able to. I may have them all over here. I might be able to make that fairly readily. Well, like I said, Sean, it wouldn't necessarily take that long for me because I don't have that many. You know, I saw one of J. Row Light's videos the other day where he was talking about in the amount of time that since he had last made a video of his entire collection, his had grown by like over 100. Like maybe he had 200 or 150 or 200 at one point. Now he had 300, something like that. I don't have anywhere near that many lighters in my personal collection. The vast majority of the lighters that you've seen on this channel over the last, well, I guess 5 years, a little under 5 years since I created the YouTube channel. That was July of 2018, I believe. But the vast majority of those lighters have been sold. But there are still a few. I've still got a few from back at the very beginning. The lipstick type, trench type lighter with the ashtray on the bottom. That's one of my favorites. The cigarette case, sort of a maroon enameled with a cream color inside. Doesn't have any branding on it as far as I can see. Just a really cool item. And then other than my very first Zippo and a few others that I have gained along the way, like the Jack Zippo Slim. This is one that I've had for a long time. But a lot of them have been accumulated and acquired over the last few years because I've just kind of allowed myself over the last few years to finally actually collect some of them rather than feel like I needed to make money on every one of them. Doobla doobla, what's up, Dylan? Glad that you have joined us. I didn't realize, Friedrich, that the Modern employed the slim insert. That's cool. Sure that would have, and it probably will still surprise me when I first encounter one. It's like I was talking about with the cigarette case a while ago. It's always amazing to me when you get something like this in your hand, how much different the size is compared to what you thought from the photos. And I remember the very first Barcroft lighters that I saw over there at the first time. I've seen plenty of them in eBay listings and things like that. But I still don't know if I've seen any others in person other than it seems like Ted had about a dozen of them in his Zippo display when I first went up there right before the pandemic started. Early, I think it was February of 2020. First trip I took up there. Oh yeah, I've sold all those. I'm trying to remember now how many Sterling Dunhills I've had. I've had 2 lift arm lighters. One of them sold in an eBay auction for just a little over, well, actually it was a buy it now. Had a couple of bidders playing hijinks with me, and when I was done, the first one didn't pay. So I just relisted it at the price that it sold for, and the second one ended up buying it. It was like $506 or $511. It wasn't marked Sterling, but it did, I forget now, what you do with the ice cube. Something about if an ice cube would run down it. Um, anyway, then the other one was a really nice engine turned sport model that I got in that big collection of that had all the items from Admiral, what was his name? It was JJC, were his initials, James Jocko Clark or something like that. I apologize if I'm getting that right, getting that wrong. But I don't remember now what question I was answering. Oh, you asked me about the Sterling Dunhill. Yeah, I sold those two, and then there was also at least one Rollalite that was Sterling. So I've had at least three. But yeah, they've all been sold. And actually, those were all really before I got the YouTube thing going real good. Maybe I was thinking about that earlier, Dylan. I knew when I put it out there that if you came along, that it might get your attention. So I don't know. Um, what do they normally go for? I hadn't really comped it, and then the other day I saw one sell on. Well, it was actually a little bit later than that, like the '80s, like late '80s, and it looked identical. There's like a black chrome version, and it wasn't that. There's also like a red version, it wasn't that. I think it was just this one, but just later. Seems like it sold for about $65 or so. Well, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I won't sell it without us talking about it again. I would like to figure out a trade. I don't. I have to go back and look. I can't remember now exactly what you sent me. Yeah, I have a hard time. I bought several of those Penguin Cygnus lighters. As a matter of fact, every one of them that I bought that was short, that I bought online, I don't think I realized until I got them in my hand that they were short. I think every one of them I thought was full size. What collection are you talking about? The collection that I bought with all the Admiral stuff in it, Friedrich, or are you talking about a collection you had with thorns in it? Because yeah, that collection that I had was 37 items. It was 26 lighters. The other 11 were like, cigarillo cutters, piercers, things like that. Um, it was a really cool, like winking eye cigarillo cutter. You can go back and find all these things in videos for them. They're kind of some crude videos, and there's probably country music playing in the background. But anyway, glad that you have joined us, Ollie Poppers, and glad that you love the content. I enjoy making it, and hope to be able to continue to do it as long as the Lord allows me to. Have you cleaned the? What kind of mechanism does it have on it, Ollie Poppers? Have you made sure that the flint tube is clear? That you don't have any remnant of old degraded, powdered, or concreted flint in there? You cleared the flint tube. I would just have to see it really to know. You know, it could be that your file wheel has gotten like old flint shaving stuff built up in it over time, dirt and everything else, and that it's not cutting like it should. So it could help you to clean that up if you haven't done it already. It could be that that your clutch spring isn't engaging properly, or not engaging, you know, every time as it should. It could be a number of things. But sometimes with those old mechanisms, I mean, I've had, especially talking about, I don't know if you said Japanese made table lighter, but for some reason when I hear table lighter, I think it's most likely Japanese made. There were a ton of them, and not always the most well built, best kind of material. I've seen plenty of them that just seized up, and when you try to take them apart and clean everything up and get it back together, there's just too much play in the mechanism, and it doesn't ever want to work right. Can you feel from the way that the clutch spring interacts with the wheel that it is engaging as it should? Or does it have the kind of clutch spring that is, what do you call it, integrated into the top of the snuffer cap? Another thing, and we talked about this on other lighters, and I can't remember now who it was. I'd like to give them credit for it. It's been so long ago now that I can't remember. But it was a user or a viewer, a subscriber to the channel, who initially pointed out to me that he got so much better, what's the word I'm looking for, results when he used the Dunhill blue flints in his old Ronson lighters, that was all he used anymore. He went so far as to say that it made lighters usable that before were useless. And I agree. So that's something, if it's just like a weak spark issue, then you might try to use the Dunhill blue flints. They're a little bit more expensive. You can find them on eBay now and then for, you know, $11 or $12 for a 9-pack. A lot of other times they'll be more like $15. But the Dunhill blue flints really do seem to make a difference. If it doesn't feel like it's engaging every time, then it may be that you need to take a closer look at the clutch spring. It may be that it's been bent out of shape, and or maybe you've got some kind of buildup in the teeth on the side of the wheel. Anyway, I was pretty pleased. The seller, which was Larry Leiter, I don't know if you guys are familiar. We talked about my lighter and his Facebook posts earlier. Larry Leiter is another one that puts out a lot of informational Facebook posts. Anyway, he had said that it would need service for it to work. And it did have a little bit of flint dust caked to the wheel. But when I saw that the flint tube was clear, I went ahead and put a flint in it, the Dunhill blue flint, and fueled it up. And it's about an 80% lighter at this point, so that's pretty good. But a Ronson should light every time. And I did just fuel this one, so we might be dealing with a little bit of vapor lock, but if we were still dealing with vapor lock, it's been well over an hour because we've been here on the stream for over an hour. Anyway, so this one is going to need to be taken apart, and just so I can see if I can get it up to that. I mean, at the very least, a Ronson should like 9 out of every 10 times that you push the button. Shouldn't be any of this spinning at 5 to get it to catch twice. Yeah, that'd be a little bit more difficult to test with it being, you're really going to have to assemble it and then just see if it's doing it that way. Where when you have the sheet metal type spring that rides beside the wheel, then you can run that around in your fingers and feel whether or not it's engaging. Yeah, Friedrich, that's probably something I need to do. That's Zippo Fanatic 77 has mentioned that to me several times. But you know, I don't like clean things in big batches or anything. So I don't know how cost effective, or maybe the solution you put in there or whatever, maybe it's not all that expensive. I just clean things with rubbing alcohol typically. Soft wire, brass brush, toothpicks, common household disinfectant cloths, tissue paper, that kind of thing. Interesting, Sean. Somebody from Oklahoma, you said, that was selling to the UK. If he, yeah, I've probably seen the Cygnus. I keep an eye on those on those listings pretty regular. Um, Interesting. Yeah, I've lost a few. Nevsat mentioned that he lost a screw trying to fix a lighter. I've had a few that, yeah, just made me feel sick. I had a screw fall out of a Ronson touch tip that I was making a video on at one point, and I never could locate it. And I've had I can't tell you how many others, and it just makes you feel sick, just pit in the bottom of your stomach. Um, when you have that screw go flying across a room, and it's a big room, and there's, it's not easy it's literally like a needle in a haystack. Has anybody attended any of ZF77 Outdoors recent live streams? Or has anybody else been doing live? Has J-Row or anybody like that done a live stream recently that anybody caught? Well, yeah, I think we all suffer from that a little bit, Sean. Depending on how much lighter fluid we've been breathing. This is another favorite of mine, which I don't have well, it came in a gift box, so I don't have a display box for it. Not only that, I realized when I moved everything over here that the box that I was displaying this one in wouldn't close because of that thick plate. I'm not sure what you call this. I don't know what the plate is made of. It's like a brushed finish with kind of a silver outline. Simper. What does simper mean? We'll look it up here. There's a play on words going on there. The slogan, it's the Marine Corps slogan, I believe, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. Yeah, the motto of the U.S. Marine Corps, according to Google. So, Semper Fi means always faithful, so Semper Hi would obviously mean always high. And I'm sure that's well, I know it was a custom engraved things remembered. Those kiosks they used to have out in the mall, booths in the middle of the mall, where you could get flasks engraved for your groomsmen, things like that. It came in a gift box for things remembered. So I'm sure it was just a witty Marine maybe giving a gift to somebody who was going off somewhere or something. Anyway, pretty cool. Semper Hi. That's the kind of thing that, it wouldn't be so funny if I myself just started engraving that kind of stuff on old lighters, but to find lighters that were engraved with that kind of stuff, pretty cool. Were you a Marine, Dylan? I don't know if you were in the Marines. Are you always a Marine? My father was in the U.S. Army toward the end of uh, the Vietnam War, but he didn't go to Vietnam. He was stationed in Alaska for, I don't know, year and a half. It's where my brother was born. I do have a cousin that was a Marine. I sent him a picture of that lighter when I first got it, and he laughed about it. So that's not exactly a military lighter or military Zippo, but I would definitely think that whoever originally had that lighter engraved was connected to the Marine Corps. One of the National Lighter Museum Zippos. Got two of those. One from 1998. The other one, there's my Bob Dylan tour merchandise Zippo, double-sided. That logo. At one point I had a baseball cap that had that Bob Dylan logo with the eye and the crown. And I think that image was on one of the album covers. There's the other National Lighter Museum. So the one, the two color red and blue paint is high polish, and then the year 2000 brushed chrome. It has brushed chrome finish instead of the high polish, and it's just the one color paint. Can't remember which one of these had the flint that had exploded in it. I think it was the first one. It may have been the other one. I'd have to go back and look at the video to know for sure. So you give me something to think about, Sean. That's my this was the free one, the Majestic Views that I've been using. Got plenty of use, still got fuel in it. I just put it in that box back in its box yesterday when I was actually using these for a backdrop for the video that you guys will see in the morning. That's the unused Majestic Views. It's probably my favorite of all the newer ones. So I do have two of those in my collection. And that's a really cool one too. This one got dropped off the balcony at one point. Still got most of its paint. Does have some nicks, dings. Lost some of its paint off the bottom there. Really cool lighter. I'd like to have another one of those that's unused that I could just leave and display in my collection. But there's the original price sticker. I don't remember if I paid that much for it or not. Don't really remember where. That's a 2017. Whether I bought that one on eBay or Amazon. Cool lighters though. Then of course I have, well, I've got the couple of the OTLS, the two conventions that didn't happen. And then I got some more unboxed stuff. The Joe's Racing doesn't have a traditional box. It was in a tin. That's a brand new lighter. The Leaf is 2017, John. I think it said G of 2017. So what would that be? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So July. And then for a while you could find these on eBay for about $32 or so, shipping included. I don't know if they're still that price or not. I don't think they're making this one anymore, but they were up until just a couple of years ago. So that's definitely one of my favorites. Yes, Dylan. Where did that go now? Oh, I put it in the Semper High is a Zippo. It is 2010. Looks like 2010. Doesn't look as though it's ever been lit. It's really heavy too with those plates. I don't know if those are anodized aluminum plates or how they get the black finish on there. Pretty cool lighter though. Yeah, it's definitely plates. I think those are anodized aluminum, or at least the inlay, the black part. I've seen those in other colors, maybe red, blue. Yeah, that's real. It's a wordplay on Semper Fi. Yep. So rather than always faithful, it is always high. But like I said, not exactly what you think of with a military lighter, but I definitely think this lighter had a military connection. And I kind of saw, well, at one point I had this Semper High. Then I also had the all-around leaf. And then I had the slim Zippo with the painted green cannabis leaf. So I sort of saw that as a cannabis theme or marijuana theme of my Zippo collection. But I sold the slim painted cannabis leaf, so I don't know. I won't be selling this one. The all-around leaf, etched leaf, whatever you call it. That's one that I've had. It's been one of my go-to EDC. Was in my pocket a lot, just like the slim jack glider. So definitely won't be selling that one, but I could be convinced to sell the Semper High. Maybe. No, what happened about Woody Harrelson, Azrael? Did I just walk into a joke? I know he was hosting Saturday Night Live this past weekend, but I fell asleep before it came on. Well, not before it came on. I fell asleep before it really got going. I know you're not going to leave me hanging, are you, Azrael? Tell me a joke and then leave the punchline out there? I'll keep this scrimshaw nice and safe and clean though, Dylan, in case we do make a deal on it. Like I said, it's not getting listed anytime soon or anything like that. I really like the look, well, maybe that's why they call it the vintage look. But I like the look of it, especially the one with the slash corners, how square it is compared to the 41 replica. Definitely stand in contrast to each other. Whereas the regular brush chrome Zippo is kind of in between. Not as boxy and square as the vintage look. But both of the replicas have flat bottoms. Anyway, I've had other vintage looks. I had a brass one several years ago. Seems like I've had another one or two that I sold. You talking about recently, Sean? Have I managed to sell much? No, I haven't been selling much. I've only got about 15 lighters listed right now. And I don't know, got another probably 50 about that I need to get listed. So I need to get back to work on some of that. Um, yeah, no, I've sold so little lately that I lost my top rated seller status. I don't get those perks that I usually get. You know, they'll promote your listings and um, different things when you're top rated seller, but I just haven't. You know, I've got. It's really difficult trying to figure out where to prioritize, and um, something's going to suffer. It's to keep up with getting everything listed that I need to list, to make all the videos I want to make, to write all the articles I need to write, and I'm still probably leaving stuff out. So it's right now listing lighters is about third on my priority list, but I need to get busy on it. It would help if I could sell some lighters. Oh, I'll have to go back and watch that, Azrael. I didn't see that or hear anything about it. I like Woody Harrelson. I think he's entertaining. So yeah, I definitely would like to see that. Yeah, things happen, and you know, there's other things going on. It's winter time, um, but you know, I got things going on with my grandkids. My grandson's been playing basketball, so we go to those basketball games, and then the other one of my granddaughters just turned 3, just had her birthday over the weekend, and then there's the younger granddaughter who I babysit sometimes. So, and even when I'm not babysitting her, you know, we get together, you know, with various different members of the family, extended family here and there. So yeah, I'm not wasting my time. Like I said, it's just a matter of trying to figure out priorities. And like I said, I I have prioritized the website back to number one. Publishing 2 articles a week over there. So you guys make sure to get over there and check that out. And I've even written some of that same kind of stuff, Azrael. You said he was trashing Big Pharma. I've written an article or two over there in the past about the way that our government has treated the cannabis plant, and especially in relation to how we as a society treat alcohol and other drugs. So, anyway, like I said, you might get over there and check that out. Still publishing video, just haven't been doing it every weekday morning. Should get back to a little bit more consistency than what I've been. But I'm also going to try to maintain. The first couple of weeks that I took off, it didn't work out to where I could do this on a Tuesday at all. Um, the house was not unoccupied. There was too much going on for me to be able to sit here and have a casual conversation with all you guys. So as long as everybody else is well and things are working smoothly, then we'll plan on doing the live stream on Tuesdays and try to keep the weekday morning videos as regular as possible. But keep in mind too, I wonder how many of you guys, do you ever go back and watch the old videos? That was kind of eye-opening to me. I don't know why. I was logged in under my personal name rather than the Dependable Flame account when the that first Cygnus collection video that I did came up there on the feed. But that was kind of eye-opening for me to realize that here it was just a year and a half ago. That was my entire collection of Cygnus lighters. And the fact that I really didn't even start collecting them until I moved everything in over there to that house on Mesta Park and was able to start publishing video every day. Um, so I've really put together that collection of Cygnus lighters pretty quickly. So as disappointed as I get sometimes that I don't find more of them than I do, I think it's okay to be patient. If I put together 17 or 18 in a year and a half, then surely I can manage to, at least find one or two a year or so to keep adding to the collection. Well, 2017, my entire life was a mess, Azrael. My grandson, he's 10, so he's been around since 2013. Um, but at the time, I was still working full time in 2017 up until um, the end of August or the end of July. Can't remember now. Um, anyway, it got to the point then when I couldn't do my job there at the Postal Service anymore. And not only that, but around the same time, I'd quit drinking. I'd quit drinking in December of the year before, 2016. Um, but my entire life fell apart. You know, Personal relationships, not with my kids, but with my wife and my job and then some good things. Like I said, I quit drinking at the same time, so that was a good change. But so there was all kinds of change, and so yeah, there was a lot of things going on back then. But yes, there are definitely there was only one grandkid back then, and now there are three. Yeah, I'm like I said, it's just a matter of figuring out priorities. I wouldn't ever want to go back to any kind of uh, working for somebody else where I've got to, you know, devote 9 hours a day minimum that I'm going to get paid for it, but somebody else is going to be telling me what to do. I don't think I could do that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Dylan, it was 17 or 18 years straight, and it was shameful. It's hard for me to imagine now. I mean, by God's grace, it is a thing of the past. It's not something that I even struggle with. I see it clear as day. And I don't know if I know I've made a video or two about alcoholism and the effects of it and how damaging it is. But the one thing that really gets me, I had quit on doctor's advice in May of 2016, and then because of health reasons, and ended up falling off the wagon. And when I fell off the wagon 3 months later, it was in August, I drank like 80 proof bourbon whiskey straight over ice. Evan Williams, that kind of thing. Occasionally Canadian whiskey, whichever. Um, and it always tasted so good. But when I had that first drink after not drinking for 3 months from May to August, that whiskey tasted like poison in my mouth. And that's because it was foreign to me. And I should have known at that point that to stay away from it. I already knew I had to quit, but instead I fell back into it, and then things really got bad. So, but anyway, I know you're having just having a good laugh, and I get it. But it really was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And like I said, shameful and embarrassing that I could have allowed myself to let that happen. I drank Evan Williams, 80 proof Evan Williams for a long time, but I drank a lot of like apple flavored Canadian whiskey. can't remember the particular brand right at the moment that I was drinking when I quit. But I can remember clear as day that liquor hitting my tongue, and it was not the same friendly substance it had been just 3 months earlier. My body had rid itself of all of it, and reintroducing it was, I mean, I might as well have been poisoning myself. I was poisoning myself. Thank you, Professor. I appreciate that. Like I said, that's been uh, December 13th of 2016, last time I had a drink. So, and it was sort of a blaze of glory. It didn't go well. But I haven't missed it. I know people struggle with addiction, and I've struggled with uh, tobacco addiction. I tried to quit dipping forever, and it just didn't. I didn't think I'd ever be able to quit it, and when I did, it really wasn't that big a deal. I've known people who were addicted to hard drugs, and that's a whole other thing. But yeah, your body becomes dependent on that alcohol, and that's not a good thing because your body doesn't even know what to do with it. Your body doesn't even know how to dispose of it properly, how to process it, at least in those kinds of quantities. I dipped Copenhagen. Well, I dipped every kind of Copenhagen. When I was a kid, I dipped something called Hawken, and maybe chewed some tobacco here and there. And then I smoked for my early 20s. And then when I quit smoking, I started dipping to try to quit smoking. And then I ended up doing both for, I don't know, about 10 years. And smoking a pack a day or a half pack a day and dipping a can a day. But I dipped Copenhagen, fine cut, trying to remember what the other stuff. Basically, Copenhagen was what I dipped. Occasionally, here and there, when it would get expensive, I'd do another um, one of the off brands, but I can't even remember one of those that stands out now. Grizzly was one. A Grizzly fine cut wasn't bad. It was sort of like Copenhagen long cut, but um, both of those were really nasty habits. Smoking the cigarettes and dipping. Dipping's really nasty. Always having a container of spit sitting somewhere nearby. Yeah, it wasn't that. I certainly had my moments where I would get aggressive, Sean, where I was drunk and out of control. But even without that, um, you know, that big part of it, just the damage that liquor does to you on a daily basis, it's not good. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with celebrating your sobriety. It's um, something that, like I said, it seems so shameful to me now that you can get carried away in something so completely, and years of your life go by, and you're just damaging yourself and everyone around you. But anyway, praise God, it's not an issue for me anymore. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like every now and then I get the notion in my head that a dip sounds like a good thing. Putting some snuff in between my cheek and gums, but it just it's a good point, Sean. Nicotine is just as bad for you, just as damaging, and especially, well, I don't know, the smoking part of it, the tar and all that. I definitely think smoking cigarettes are worse for you. than smoking weed. Um, and I think that maybe dipping is not quite as bad for you as smoking. But like I said, I started dipping to try to quit smoking. Next thing you know, I'm doing them both for 10 years. So, regardless of what uh, I may get accused of with no caffeine, no alcohol, no tobacco, I still have plenty of fun. I haven't I haven't missed out on anything in life by quitting any of those things, but yet for some reason, when you're in the throes of them, they seem so um, necessary. Yeah, I get it, Sean. It's a struggle for sure, and you know we all have our own struggles. Um, even though I've quit those things, I still, you know, it's not like that was not like alcohol was my only source of stupidity or um, ignorance or you know I can do a pretty good job of that myself. So, but I don't know if maybe I know that my old lady gets fed up with me a lot of times because of my eating habits and because I just won't bend on what I'm willing to eat. I will occasionally, but I mean I think that if she had her way, I'd be back to eating pasta and bread and um, but I think that because I feel um, like I was so undisciplined in those other areas is one reason why I'm not willing to bend in the area of my diet. I mean, if it's important, if it really makes a difference, then it, you know, I need to stick with it. Yeah, and I don't know. Compared to most people, I don't know. I don't know how. It's strange, but I did. I managed to cut all that stuff out of my diet. I don't eat any sugar. The only sugar or carbs I eat are what are naturally occurring in, you know, the nuts and seeds and stuff that I eat. I eat a lot of eggs, bacon, um, broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, avocado, things like that. But yeah, there's not a. You know, we go to a burger place around here. I can get a burger on a salad. That's pretty good. Or a place, the Garage. We have this place called the Garage where um, they do tacos, but it's like inside a lettuce, kind of like a wrap. Well, it's funny you say that, Azriel, because when I quit drinking and I'll just say started smoking because I used that to help me get off of alcohol, and I'm not talking about tobacco. But when I did that, I had a buddy of mine tell me that I needed to find a hobby, and that was right about the time that all this lighter stuff came about. My introduction to lighters came around that same time, and so I do have a hobby, and you know, try to figure out a way to build as much content as I can around these interesting things that I find or do, and so anyway, yeah, yeah. The Garage is a good place. We have another one called S&B Burger. That's a good place where I can get a burger, a bunless burger on a salad. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me today. We've been on for a little over 2 hours, and I might need to make a video and do a little bit of work on the website and see about making that other video that Sean asked me about of my entire collection. I'm really going to have to, I may have to get a couple of different cameras going for that one. or maybe I can get my backdrop off set up over here. We'll see. But I'll definitely head in that direction, Sean. I'll definitely plan on making that video. Yeah, I've heard of something similar to that. Yeah, I don't know the exact quote, but it is better to keep yourself busy. And that's something that I've talked with a lot recently with a friend of mine who has been very curious about God, and in the past, always claimed that he didn't believe in God, and then sort of over the years kind of evolved into, he would admit that there was a God, but uh, acknowledging that God was the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ was a whole other thing. To the point that now he's got his son upset with him because all he wants to listen to in the car is Christian music. And but that's one thing we were talking about is, I love country music. I love Turnpike Troubadours, James McMurtry, Jason Isbell. I could list off a bunch of them, but that kind of music, it's kind of what you're saying about idle hands. It makes me think about things, and puts things in my head that aren't necessarily the most wholesome. Where I can listen to some John Michael Talbot or the Imperials, or I found a song recently called "Adam, Where Are You" by a guy named Don Francisco from the late 1970s. You might give it a listen if you get a chance. Anyway, keeping those kinds of songs in your ears and before your eyes, I would agree. That's much more productive. That wouldn't be idle hands. That's be putting your focus where it should be. I don't know about the kumbaya. I think that may be a whole other religion. Not sure what the origin of that is, Sean. Don Francisco, Adam, Where Are You? It's a heartbreaking song, but it's full of hope. So thank you, Sean, Azrael, Professor Dylan, Shayana was with us early on, Nevsat, Friedrich, Ollie Poppers, probably going to miss somebody here or there. I apologize for that. Make sure you guys tell your friends. We'll all try to gather here every Tuesday morning. Did it at 11 o'clock this week instead of 10 because I was running a little bit late this morning. But we'll continue to do it on Tuesday and hopefully have some discussion about old lighters, maybe even have a project or two. And next week, Sean, or you can hit me up in the comments if you want to before that. Let me know what you think of the Don Francisco song, Adam, Where Are You? And I will see all of you guys next week. Until next time.